Atmosphere in the air-conditioned office of Jibril Kanazwe, a renowned contractor and businessman in Ouagadougou, is heated. Jibril Kanazwe paused my interview with him and seized the voice recorder. He accused me of trapping him to disclose information he would ordinarily not disclose. I was in Burkina Faso to investigate allegations that he used undue influence to win a contract. He defended the process through which he won the contract and justified the cost of the project. The Ghana Embassy fence wall in Burkina Faso was built around a piece of land that is yet to be developed. The land is about the size of a football pitch and is located at the ambassadorial enclave in Ouagadougou. Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso at the time of the project, Chief Dauda Mandiaya Baumia, said he wrote to Mr. Kanazwe and two other contractors to submit quotations for the project. He does not remember the names of the other two. There are allegations that the contractor who eventually won the contract is his close friend. Chief Baumia does not dispute this claim.
He's my friend and he continues to be my friend because we didn't break up the relationship after I left her.
Mr. Kanazwe explains how he won the contract.
Each institution have his way of managing his contracts matter. We got a letter from the embassy that a bid, and we have sent our quote. We replied to the bid, and we got the contract.
Was it advertised in newspapers or they wrote to you directly?
Oh, they wrote to us. It was not on newspaper.
A former chief executive officer of the Public Procurement Authority, Ajenim Boatinya, said a contract of this nature should have gone through competitive bidding.
The law has provided for thresholds above which a method is to be used. Now, if you talk of a 650,000 or a 2 million contract or 2 million procurement, the law definitely requires that, one, you cannot use request for quotation because it's got a threshold of 20,000 and above. It could either be a national competitive tendering or international competitive tendering.
He said the Foreign Affairs Ministry could have obtained approval from the Public Procurement Authority if it wanted to use restricted tender.
Restrictive tendering and sole source are methods which are not restricted by value. But then the law makes a clear, provides a clear instructions that such methods of procurement must have a prior approval from the Public Procurement Authority.
Attempts to get details of the contract from the Foreign Affairs Ministry yielded no results. The Public Procurement Authority, on the other hand, would not comment on whether the ministry sought approval or not. In the office of Mr. Kanazwe hangs a photograph of him and President John Maham. Exactly a week before I went to meet him in Burkina Faso, President Maham had commissioned the 46-kilometer Dodo-Pepeso section of the Eastern Corridor Road, Mr. Kanazwe's latest project in Ghana.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank Messrs. Umaru Kanazwe, Contractors Limited of Burkina Faso, for the very high quality of work they have done on this stretch of road. As I said, perhaps this is one of the best quality roads in Ghana today.
Joy News has evidence that Jibril Kanazwe sent a brand new Ford Expedition vehicle to President Mahama in 2012, the year he got the embassy fence wall contract and a 25.9 million euros road contract.
There was this vehicle you gave as a gift in 2012, that's the Ford Expedition. Was it meant for the ambassador or it was meant for the president?
No, that one, I'm not aware of that one. I'm just aware of the wall.
But you also gave a Ford Expedition car to the ambassador, and I want to know who it was intended for.
No, I did not give a Ford Expedition to the ambassador.
In 2012, when the vehicle was given, Ghana's embassy in Burkina Faso wrote a letter ordering border authorities at Paga to allow the vehicle to pass. That letter reads,
I have been directed to inform you that the the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou is assisting with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, by Mr. Jibril Kanazwe, a renowned contractor in Burkina Faso. The said gift is a Ford Expedition with engine number E173 A190 5101 and chassis number 1FMJ UI J58 AEB 60748. I am to request the competent Ghanaian border authorities at the Paga border to kindly assist with the passage of the said vehicle and those transporting it without any let or hindrance. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador to express the mission's appreciation in anticipation of your kind cooperation. Signed for Head of Mission by Maxwell Nyakonlate, Head of Chancery.
Welcome back, viewers. And you've been watching videos from, first of all, the excerpts from the BBC interview a couple of weeks ago in London when the president went for the corruption summit, and also a short documentary by a journalist from this network on bribery allegations by a Burkinabe contractor who had given the president of Ghana a vehicle. Let's take a look again at the first video.
Been offered a bribe before?
You mean as president?
As John Mahama?
As a human being?
As a person?
Any human being in the world would have encountered, corruption in a way, one way or the other, either being offered a bribe or a bribe being demanded from you. What you need to do is to put yourself in a position...
Mr. President, did you take it?
No, I haven't taken a bribe.
Viewers, do you honestly believe this? And with me to have this discussion on the bribery and the corruption that has engulfed our nation in the last 8 years of the NDC administration is Mr. Emmanuel Asigri. Mr. Asigri is former DCE for Garu Timpani in the Upper East region and also a member of the MPP communications team. He's been out of the picture for a while, but back now. Welcome, Mr. Asigri.
Thank you very much.
Also with me is Henry Nanabuachi. He doesn't like us to call him Henry.
Henry.
Nanabuachi is also a member of the MPP communications team. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
The issue before us this evening is a very interesting one, where if you listen to or watch the video or have followed this story since it broke on Wednesday, a gentleman called Jibril Kanazwe, a Burkinabe businessman, happened to be looking for contractual opportunities across the border here in Ghana. And according to what we've gathered, he was told that if he was introduced to the then Vice President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, getting such juicy contracts will be easier. And therefore, his acquaintance introduced him to the then Vice President of the Republic. Beyond that, he had tried bidding for certain contracts in those days, but could not get it. But subsequently, after President Mills died, he began to get contracts. And we are told also that in September or October or so of 2012, at which time President Mahama had assumed the rest of the tenure of President Mills, a Ford Explorer Luxury Edition.
No, Expedition, please. They're two different models.
Sorry.
Expedition is
a Ford Expedition.
Brand new.
Luxury Edition was transported from Burkina Faso to Ghana as a present to the President of the Republic. Mind you, Jibril Kanazue, by our checks, is supposed to be the owner of the Ford dealership in Burkina Faso and is one of the wealthy Burkinabe businessmen, young Burkinabe businessmen who has interests across the country and has crossed the border to find even more greener pastures here in Ghana. However, he's been aided by the President of our Republic. Hence, he had to sort of dole out gifts, and in this case, a bribe to the President of Ghana. Ima, what are your views so far in monitoring this story since it broke? People have taken to the person of the journalist who was doing his job. People have sought to water it down that it is not a bribe, but a gift. But here's a case where the person in question who gave the vehicle has contractual relationships with the government of Ghana. And you saw it in that video where the president, you could see clearly, was full of praise. And in his own words, he said that the road from Dodo Pepesu is a high quality and the best quality of road in Ghana today. Is it because the road was being constructed, or is it being constructed by people who dole out vehicles to him? Does he make those comments in commissioning all the projects that he's been commissioning in the last couple of years?
Well, let me take the opportunity to say good evening to the cherished viewers of this Louder program, and then also indicate that, like you said, I've been out of the system for a while, but I must indicate that I have followed through every issue that have happened in this country. That has happened in this country throughout my absence. Thanks to technology, you get to hear or know or see the things that are happening back home if you want to. And
so, even better briefed
absolutely. So I'm not new to this situation, especially with a city or a country. Not the entire country, but with a city that I'm also well, versed with when it comes to the issue that is at stake. And I'm talking of Ouagadougou. If you listen to what has happened with regards to this documentary that has been aired and the reaction from government, and then putting it to other corrupt issues that have hit this government in the past, for me, I see it as not a new thing at all. It didn't come to me as a shock, because we've had situations where, clear corrupt cases, have taken place, and this government, when we are told that it is the government that is fighting corruption than any other government, I look at it and I ask myself why we think that the rest of us are just some, people who don't have some reasoning power to determine what exactly is going on. The president this time around is the one who has been fingered in this. If you look at the posture of the president, people in his government who have been involved in serious corrupt practices have rather been shielded. And you watch it carefully, he moves them probably from their various ministries, especially I'm talking of ministers, to the presidency. Yeah. And we sit in this country and it has become like a part of us, and people are complaining, and people within government think that what is happening is a non-issue. And so I'm not surprised to see the reaction that we are getting from members of government and the ruling party. It is interesting. For me, I know they've already given the twist to it. The moment this thing was aired, if you listen to the commentary that has gone on, people have found a way of aligning Manasseh as an MPP person. And that has been the thing that has happened over the period. That anything that happens in this country and you rise up as an independent person or someone who has no political affiliation and speak against it, you are seen as an MPP person. And they don't shy at saying these things. They say it with pride. And I'm wondering why they think that we as a party cannot point out the wrongs and the negatives that are going on. Perry, if you take the issues that have led to all this whole thing, the contract to do with a war over a plot that was allocated to the Ghana government through the embassy to build a new embassy at an area in Ouagadougou, which is known as Ouaga 2000. In English, would be translated as Ouaga 2000, which is the new Ouagadougou. And they're moving all embassies into that area. You would have.
And I'm told it is called an ambassadorial.
Absolutely, which is very close to the ECOWAS village. You know, Blaise Compaoré constructed an area in this Ouaga 2000, where he built an ECOWAS village, where they had a conference center, and then apartments like we did with the AU village. And I must tell you, the concept of the AU village was taken from what he did.
Okay.
You know, where he built, and then these apartments, or is it houses, were allocated to the various, I mean, not allocated per se, but designated for the various countries, where anytime there was any conference of a sort at that place, our heads of states and senior government officials were housed in these places. The plot, which has become a thorny matter or a subject matter, is very close to this area. This is an area that I know personally. And this plot was allocated to us when we were in government. And the then ambassador who was in charge of our embassy in Ouagadougou was Honorable Mukhtar Sanu, who also served as a first regional minister under the Kufuor administration. So Upper West. Yeah. So when you hear what is going on and the issues that have come in relation to this whole thing, you ask yourself, because I'm bringing this up because the government statement that have been issued.
Does it make sense to you that a wall and not a building, a wall on this land cost us $650,000?
Right, that's why I was getting to. Because, like I said, if you go through the government statement that was issued, and the gentleman made a statement in that regard, and I think they picked it from there and started putting the issue of rice farmers and compensation and all that, which is a lie. Like I'm saying, you see, we have people apart from me, I know.
Because it's not up to us to pay compensation.
There is nothing like that. And it is not only Ghana that has been allocated this plot of land.
Yeah,
you
because it's an ambassadorial enclave.
You heard Manasa say ambassadorial enclave.
Yeah.
If you go, most of the embassies have not constructed. I mean, the last time I was in Ouagadougou, most of the embassies had not constructed their, embassy buildings yet. But if you get there, the Burkinabe government has, labeled all these plots. Embassy of Mali, Embassy of Cuba, Embassy of this, and then you find it in that line. And these things are done in many countries. In the United States, if you go, you have an ambassadorial enclave where you have the embassies in Washington, D.C. lined up in that format. So you take this whole thing, where this wall is now being shown here. We have our presidential palace here. The land size of this proposed embassy site is not up to what we have at it's not up to what we have our presidency, which is the Flagstaff House. The question I want to put to Ghanaians, and then probably those who are in the field of building, that would our presidential building wall, the Flagstaff building, would that wall cost us $100,000? Because what we have seen.
Because that wall runs from the front of the Flagstaff House all the way to the back end,
which
covering the old zoo, all the way to GBC Clubhouse onto the other end of the road. And even that wall
cannot cost us $100,000. And now you hear people talk, government officials talk about rice farmers and all that, which is a lie. And you see, this is the thing that's been happening with this government. They lie through their teeth. And I wonder what makes them think that when they lie this way, they are making, some gains out of it. This is not something that is a place that is at a place where others don't know. It was under our government that this place was acquired. And like I'm saying, I know this place. It is not something that I'm sitting here and talking based on a picture or a video that's been put there. So you come and tell us that there is not even a flower or a horticulturist in Ouaga 2000. Ouaga 2000 is well laid out. The streets have been done. Drainage has been done. It is done in a manner where when you move in there, you have to do any construction. It is just for you to go and start the construction. So for anybody to have talked about rice farmers, they don't know how that place even came up. It used to be a settlement.
But does it make sense?
And then the people were relocated.
Does it make sense to us? $650,000 is enough money to buy a complete house. And I mean an executive mansion. So why would we want to expend taxpayers' money of $650,000 on a wall? Well, Ima, let me go to Nanabi. Nanabi, beyond the issues of building a wall in Burkina Faso, there are issues of Jibril Kanazoué, who owns a road construction company that has constructed a road from Dodipepesu somewhere on the eastern corridor at the cost of about 25.9 million euros. We are told that because the funds for the construction of this road came from the European Union, the impression is being created that it is the EU office in Accra that did the tendering process and the bidding process. All of us know how Ghana government projects are executed and how the tendering process goes. Funding may have come from the British government, from Brazil, from the US government, but the tender process is handled locally. By the ministry responsible, for the sector. So how is this playing out that all of a sudden, because the president is being accused of taking a bribe from the owner of the company, he is so much gratified when he was commissioning the road? We are told that the tendering process was done by, I don't know whether it was done by the EU Commission or Jibril Kanazoué went to Brussels to go and tender for the job.
It's a pure lie. Before then, good evening to your viewers. You see, the umbrella description you can give to this is naked robbery, colossal corruption. And for me, any person, I associate myself, any person who will say the president is a thief. Seriously. You see, the difference between President Mahama and an armed robber is that probably the armed robber will come with you guns, weapons, and some other stuff. But this is naked robbery. Now, from the narrative you just gave, a person entered into this country. He didn't know anybody. He was introduced to you. He never got any contract. Subsequently, when you became the president, now the person is given, that same year, the person is given, because he was given the contract in 2012 to build a wall. And that same year, a car is given to you. And people are trying to tell me there's no link, there's no nexus. You become the president. The person never gets any contract when you were the vice president.
And mind you, even before he became president, he was vice president.
Exactly.
And he told us that he is one of the most blessed,
he's the blessed and
vice
he's in charge,
who was put in charge of almost everything.
Almost everything.
President Mills allowed him to run the country.
Exactly. So in the same year, he's given this, and I'm like, I just saw the wall, and I'm sure viewers also saw it. $700,000. Why is it Jericho Afesu?
You know the Jericho walls? There's no building inside.
What is it? Are we just building a wall around Mount Nafajeto?
And there's a plaque on the wall. I'm wondering if
it's amazing. This kind of thievery, this kind of, they are just ripping Ghana off. It is so bad. And you see, the letter that was read in the documentary, now we are being told from government communication machinery that number one is not a private gift, and that said vehicle is been added to the fleet of cars,
so that is
or pool of cars. It's even mind-boggling. So they take us for fools.
It is not a possibility because
the letter is even
a vehicle that belongs to the state.
Yeah,
we do not pay taxes.
You don't pay taxes on them.
State vehicles don't even have insurance.
You don't have insurance.
Even for our members of parliament,
yes,
they have a certain rebate on duties of vehicles that they acquire. So if anyone tells us that because the vehicle belongs to the state, that is why they went to pay tax on it in Tema, it is a big lie.
And you see from the letter, for just to, if you read the letter very well, it says, I have been directed to inform you that the Ghana Mission Ouagadougou to assist them with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama. The letter is up on the screen. You see, it is so clear. And
the letter is up on your screen, viewers.
You see, you can read it for yourself. And to read it again, I have been directed to inform you that the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou is assisting with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana. And somebody is trying to tell me that
under normal circumstances, Nanabi, what should happen with this process is that if the businessman intended to give the vehicle to the president as a gift, the vehicle should have been taken to the border. Customs duties paid on the vehicle by the gentleman, and then presented to the president. And here is the case: the vehicle was presented to the embassy or the ambassador in Ouagadougou. The ambassador writes a letter clearing the vehicle passage so that when it gets to the border, customs will allow the vehicle to drive.
And interestingly, I don't know whether you have also seen this publication. I think there's also another company in Burkina Faso. Is it the Nanzou Cabri? He is one of the CEOs for ACCL. The ACCL is, I think, the Azando Construction Company Limited, ACCL. In fact, they also brought in their bid, and they quoted $365,000 for the same project.
For the same
in fact,
which is the wall.
They did not consider it at all.
And here is the case.
They did not consider it at all.
If you watch the documentary, you found out that the former boss of the procurement agency talked about a threshold of 20,000.
20,000, yes.
So if we were going to construct a wall at the cost of $650,000, not even CD.
Competitive tendering.
Competitive tendering. And here is the case where the embassy in Burkina Faso wrote a letter and handpicked companies to construct the wall.
Construct it. And somebody is telling me there's no link. When you go to the man's office, the man preciously has an image of himself and the president hanged on the wall.
And from the president's rendition at the commissioning of the road, you can see that there's some friendship.
There's some friendship. And you see, and you collect a bribe from this person, and you are telling us that in your name, when there's evidence to that effect, that indeed the smooth passage of this car was necessitated because of you, His Excellency the President, John Dramani, as captured on the letter.
So why then are we told that there were duties paid on a vehicle at Tema?
No,
and the vehicle declared as a used vehicle.
And meanwhile, it was a brand new vehicle.
The vehicles in the fleet at Flagstaff House, which are handled by protocol, are those vehicles, do we pay duty on them?
Yes.
And are these vehicles registered or duties paid for them in individual names?
It's for the state. It is not. And sometimes it's amazing how people want to even juxtapose this or equalize this with what happened in 2002 when the late Gaddafi brought in a car, a Benz, and there was a state function.
Yesterday,
the man was giving the car to the state. There was a state function to that effect. Media captured it. National television.
There was no secrecy
about it. And at the end of the day, I remember President Kufuor handing over the keys to the then chief of staff.
I have heard some senior journalists who, I think, who are sitting on radio and saying that that vehicle was presented to President Kufuor. Let me not even say something like journalist and then mention. Kwesi Pat sat on one of these the media stations here.
But Ima and Nanabi, Libya as a government did not have any contractual relationships with Ghana.
Absolutely, but you see the lie.
Yesterday on Majority Caucus here, there was an attempt to try and make the point that because of Golden Tulip, and you know Golden Tulip Hotel here in Accra is owned by Ghana Libyan Arab Corporation, GLACO.
Yeah.
They own Golden Tulip and they own farms. They are the ones who own the shopping mall in Osu. Where the shopping mall sits in Osu today is where GLACO's head office used to be when Gaddafi was president of Libya.
Yeah.
In 2001, when President Kufuor became president of Ghana, didn't we have Golden Tulip Hotel?
Oh yeah, it was there.
So where is this fallacy that President Kufuor was presented with a Mercedes-Benz vehicle because government was divesting Golden Tulip Hotel to the Libyans?
No, it's a palpable falsehood. It was in existence way before President Kufuor even came in.
That is the issue I'm coming up with. Look, like we are raising all these issues. If you listen to the gentleman in the video, he's talking about a letter written to him to come over and then bid for for the contract.
Yes.
And you have government officials saying that it was not a sole sourcing or whatever. In any case, beyond what the former chief executive of Procurement Authority was saying, as part of the procurement process which the NPP government introduced to curb corruption, which these people have abused since they came to office from day one, with this sole sourcing thing, you are supposed to advertise any project. It's part of the process. Yeah. It is not something that you want to do.
And you heard Manasseh ask him whether he got this from any publication.
He said that he was written to. And today they are telling us that it was not so sourcing.
And that is not a breach of the law?
Yes. Where did you advertise the contract? Where? What medium did you use in advertising the contract? We want to know. You are coming out and throwing all this dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. You see, for me, what I think is this. I think the Ghanaians, the good people of this country, have come to realize that this government, all they have done from day one is to come and amass wealth for themselves.
Exactly.
Look, it is sad. It is sad the level at which this country has sunk. And then you find people, for me, I have said to friends both out and in this country that I feel so sad that people have made useless the education they spent time going to school to acquire. Because you find people who should have rejected or said that I don't want to get myself involved in this, not because I belong to a political union, but people have compromised themselves to the point where you can't understand what is going on. When you come again to this roads issue, I have heard in all this whole thing, the minister is talking about this road which he's saying Wa to Hamley, where I don't know, which road he's referring to. Because there is no road in the Upper West known as Wa Hamley Road. There's no road in, you see, when these things are done, when you don't know the terrain, they just throw these things out and people believe it. There's no road in the Upper West.
There's no road from Wa to Hamley.
There's no road in the Upper West known as Wa Hamley. What is in the Upper West is this. The road that will lead you to Hamley starts from Wa to Jirapa, which is done. Then from Jirapa, it takes you to Babili. Then from Babili, it goes to Laura. Then from Laura to Nandom. Then from Nandom to Hamley. And I can say that if you give a breakdown of, that's why I'm saying that there's no road like what is being put out there. When you give a breakdown, the various areas have contractors that are even working on some of these areas who are not, you cannot trace them to be this Kanazuri man. The Jirapa Babli Road is being done by Ghanem. And that road was awarded by the NPP to Ghanem. And when they came, they terminated it. And last year, they went back and asked him to go back again on site.
So Ghanem is back?
Ghanem is back on site as I'm speaking to you. So the strength that we have left is the Laura
and what has this Wa Hamley Road got to do with all of this?
These are the lies they put out there. We all live in this country, and these guys will do things and then make it look as if the rest of us live in some part of the world where they are the only ones here and can determine what is going on. It is sad with how far we have come as a country. We have retrogressed to the point where it is showing in every aspect of our society. Every spectrum of our society, you can see the negativeness of this government affecting us. And I'm wondering when we are going to put the brakes on some of these things. It is too worrying. It is very, very worrying. It is worrying. And I'm urging President Mahama to trickle himself. He should pick himself more and get to realize that when he's taking this country with his people, we will soon get to a point where the country will shut down and that will be the end of all of us. It is what
let me tie in this.
Say again?
Let me tie in this briefly. You see, this whole scandal, sometimes I say this, you need to tie in with the Amajaro scandal. And then you get into the Embraer scandal. And then come to the STL scandal.
We'll come back there.
You see, this man is full of corruption.
Viewers, you're on Minority Caucus. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Viewers, welcome back to Minority Caucus. And we're discussing bribery and corruption in the Mahama administration. With me in discussion are Nana Boakye and Emmanuel Asigri. Before we went on the break, Nana Boakye was making a point about other bribery and corruption issues that have had to do with the President of the Republic. But before I go back to Nana Boakye, I'll take a few of your messages. This one says, Manasseh, you are a big man in the Ghanaian media industry, and I have a lot of admiration for you as a person and as a patriotic journalist. In fact, you have exposed widespread corruption in government involving the president directly receiving bribe to award a contract. And this is from Mamwa Elijah in Akumadan. This one says, good evening, sir. Honestly, Mahama has really shown us, the electorate, that he cannot be trusted. The president took a bribe, and to my understanding, the President Mills set up a committee to investigate him. The man has to be impeached. This corrupt government should be shown the red light. And this is from Emmanuel in London. Now, Abi, I think Emmanuel sets the tone for where you were before we went on the break.
Yes. Perry, I was saying, you see, before this, let's tie in this particular issue with some other scandalous issues. Just around the time that he became vice president, the Amajaro scandal came up, where he was aiding people to take away our cocoa. It came up. Don't forget the Embraer stinking.
Which we were told the committee was set.
Yes, and at the point, even the common entertainment system package in that Embraer was supposed to be $12 billion or so. Even the ladder, what my Sir John, my uncle, would say, actually I didn't full plane. The staircase to the plane was close to about $2 million or so. And even the hangar, colossal sum. And even the hangar, what again? My uncle Sir John would say, garage, I did plane in again was close to about $1 million.
So the hangar was $19 million.
$19 million.
I mean, look at this.
19.
And remember that same, Martin Amidu was very instructive on this matter. He said a committee was set up because even President Mills at that time had doubts. He said, no, I don't trust my vice president. So he set up a committee. It is even indicted. It's even disgraceful.
And what is even more intriguing about all of this is that for the presidential fleet of aircrafts, they are mandatorily taken care of by the Ghana Armed Forces. If you go across the tarmac into the Ghana Air Force, there are huge hangars that house all the planes that we've had. So most of these planes that we used to have been sold out or are too old now to fly. So why do we spend 19 million
on a hangar? On an aeroplane garage. I mean,
all of this was led by President.
The president, as I said, out of this transaction, even President Mills was so much in doubt that he had to put up a committee
to investigate.
And yes, and Martin Amidu said it was by Honorable Abua, who was the Minister of Interior then. And the man, as we speak now, has never denied this particular matter. And as we speak, it is so shameful that your whole president don't even have that trust in you. That your president, you think that you are corrupt and you are full of stinking thievery. So he had to put up a committee to investigate you. And then came this Ameri deal. You remember around the time that he went to Dubai for holidays, and then he said he had negotiated some, this thing is good, and within some few months' time, then we have the Ameri deal. Ameri deal, we were shortchanged close to about $200 million. I don't know what they want money for.
You know that during the Ameri transaction, there were companies with a lot of experience.
A lot.
Especially a company owned by Magdalene Albright, who was former Secretary of State in the U.S. They were agents for the company that actually manufactures the badges. And they are the ones who pegged the price of the badges at, I think, 20 million or so per badge. For the 10 to come up to about 200.
200.
I think they put in a bid to supply us the badges.
No, they were rejected.
When the bid was seen and the cost of the badges were seen, then a group of people formed a new company, went to Metka, got Metka to buy the equipment at 350 million from the manufacturer, sell to us, and then the cost rose from 200 to 560.
And as a result of that
At
contract,
a time when our industry is on its knees, in need for power.
As a result of that,
the people leading us are more interested in how much they line their pockets with.
Absolutely, because as a result of that, we saw some ministers who have built mansions overnight. We've seen them build party offices overnight.
For 3 years,
huge ones.
We had power outages.
Huge ones.
And at the time when industry is on its knees and we need power the most,
this is how you choose to shortchange Ghanaians.
GE came here. GE is a direct manufacturer of badges. GE set up an office here in Ghana, and if you remember, Agbenyo and the rest of them were going around shouting on top of their voices that the GE was bringing badges to Ghana. It never materialized. And look where we are today. A businessman who has contractual relationships with Ghana, bidding for contracts here and there, doles out vehicles.
And he has not hidden the fact that
to the president.
He has not hidden the fact that once he became a friend to the president, it is in the recording. Once he became a friend to the president, he started having all the largesse flowing. You know, and you look at what is going on, the propaganda that is being put in there today.
The lies.
You have people who, like I said, have made useless of what it is they have acquired over the period in terms of their professional experience, telling us that this is a gift that has come and we added to the pool and we should commend the president. When did we become so broke that Ghana have to rely on a private foreign individual to bring us vehicles to add to the presidential fleet? And you see, you are making those comments and say that the vehicle is added to the fleet.
It is shameful.
What do we need a donation?
They should hold that break. Some of them we have respect for them. They shouldn't even make these comments. They should allow those who think that propaganda has become a part of their DNA to continue this whole thing. But once you have some credibility, don't allow yourself to go into this, because we've never seen this happen under any regime since 1957. It's not
any regime.
Then we have come to a point where we say we are so broke. We are in a crisis where we are relying. I don't think that Liberia, coming out of their situation, they would have sat there and then allowed an individual to bring in a vehicle and they say, we've accepted it.
And you add it to the presidential fleet.
Salif Johnson has accepted it. She's added it to the presidential fleet. And then we are applauding her and saying,
where is the vehicle?
We are sick people.
In
there are a pack of sick people in the
Why don't we show the vehicle and the state within which it is in today?
Exactly. And who
in government is using the vehicle today?
But you see, one thing very instructive. Ima, you see, in all of this, I want Ghanaians to see something. Put President Maham here, somebody who is unable to take care of the nation's kitty, who is full of corruption, day, night, and daylight robbery, colossal corruption, and then look at Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He says, I have never been corrupt.
Which is a fact. Not because he's
yes.
The investigations
they have put
in
a lot of investigations.
After we went out of it, including some of us.
Nothing came out of it. Nothing came out of it.
We serve the government and we pride ourselves. Me, I would walk every day, chest out,
and say that yes, my leader is not corrupt. So for such a man to mount a platform and to say instinctively that I am not corrupt, I have never been corrupt, and I shall demand same from my people. And you see, if you want to make money in my government, they know what, better look somewhere else, because it is not my government. And indeed, his track record has depicted this.
Yes, as Minister of State, he did not accept fuel from government.
His track record, and you see, they have investigated because they just want something to just throw at him. They have investigated, done a lot of forensic investigations, a lot, gone through his, what they have. Nothing came out of it. And that is the man another.
And also another issue.
That is the man another.
Yesterday on Majority Caucus, one of the panelists sought to bring in, and you see, when these things come about, instead of telling the Ghanaian people the truth, they go and bring in Akufo-Addo and then try and derail Akufo-Addo or try to demonize Akufo-Addo. Yesterday, I heard one of the panelists talk about the fact that because the Ministry of Justice was investigating a judgment debt, which is this Great Cape company judgment debt.
They still say that
they wrote to Nana Akufo-Addo
for authentication,
for to give them some history of what the debt is about, because Nana Addo wrote a letter to the ministry, it meant that Nana Addo was corrupt.
And I mean, look at it. Look, this is child's play.
You see, these are the people who I'm talking about. They do these things, and when we are
the president whose government gave somebody juicy contracts to construct a wall that could build a national theater. The cost of a wall that could build national theater.
No, but in city equivalent, we are losing side of it. In city equivalent is over 20 billion OCDs.
Of course.
Over 20 billion OCDs. The $700,000, the close to $700,000 we're talking about. It is over 20 billion OCDs. And so, for me, Perry, that is very instructive. And you see, Honorable Agbin said this. He said he doesn't trust President Mahama to fight corruption because the man himself is not principled when it comes to corruption. He is not.
But today he's hailing him.
Oh no. It is God probably, but now he has never gone back to those words. Those words.
Our time is almost up.
Yes,
let's wrap it up.
Perry, let me just add this. You see, when you see how these government propagandists, and you see when usually these things happen, I think they have some strong room where they go and then induce them with these things, and you find all of them on that tangent. They come and then they just all go out. It started with attacking the credibility of Manasseh. And this is a gentleman who is proving that he is a worthwhile journalist.
Exactly.
Today I was watching TV and one journalist who has championed a radio station and a particular political program which has taken people who don't believe in their thievery and corrupt activities to the cleaners, calling Manasseh names, calling him an infantile journalist and all that. This is a journalist who won the Ghana Journalist Association Award as the best journalist. And today we are told that he's a journalist who is intoxicated with whatever. I mean, the point I want to make here, you find people trying to say President Obama goes somewhere and he's given a gift worth whatever amount, and then that kind of thing. People don't know that when it comes to the American system, they have ways of going about these things. When President Obama travels anywhere, or any U.S. president travels anywhere, he's given a gift. It doesn't go to him as a person.
No.
It doesn't go to
the
the
State Department.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then after the person leaves, and then they find out they're sending left. Absolutely. As we sit, Perry, I'm just coming from the States. The former Virginia governor took a gift worth $100,000. As we speak, he's battling a 10-year jail sentence.
Well, the president of Ghana also just took a gift worth the same amount of money.
Yes.
Look, you see the way these countries that are endowed are putting in measures to streamline corruption, and then you wonder what is happening to us. In our case, when we don't have, it is millions of dollars that we are hearing that people, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we are hearing that people are putting in their pockets.
Well,
a council member just had a deal that had to do with $19,000 in Washington, D.C. You know, Washington, D.C. is not a state, so they run a mayor system which their people are called council members. A council member. The guy was jailed for 4 years for just $19,000. We sit here and these things happen, and then people say, well, nothing is wrong about it. It's sad.
To wrap up, this is a government that has had an unprecedented record of, if I won't be wrong, a monthly corruption scandal since its inception in 2009.
It's countless. You can count.
The corruption cases are countless.
You can count.
When these things happen, the corporates are moved from ministries and brought in to the presidency. Some are made ministers of state and given no portfolios at the presidency. Has our presidency become a brewing grounds for the create, loot, and share that the judge talked about?
Before then, quickly, Perry, please, our journalists who have been induced to suppress this story. My information is that just last night, they are just sharing out monies to journalists just to suppress this story.
Everything is sold out in this country.
It is bad. Don't sell your country in this manner.
Everything is sold out. And then
everything. And there are some journalists who are suppressing it.
And these sellout journalists come and sit there and then
monitor the media, and then you realize that indeed, what came out last night, and where I got this information, very intact, people were just giving money last night since the story broke, just to suppress it. Please.
We're told that the angle is that it should be called a gift and not a bribe.
How?
President
Please.
Kufuor's son-
We need to be mindful of the state. We are destroying the fabric, the very fabric of the
He
nation.
went to a bank, took a loan,
and then
bought a
it on,
land,
and then they acquired the hotel.
put together a consortium,
And then you had
built a hotel.
You had one key
Somebody
journalist
dragged him
in
to
the person
church.
of Kwesi Pratt who took this up as a crusade.
As a crusade.
Today he's sitting there and glorifying
In
it.
fact,
I want us to
took the matter to trial, remember?
I want us to
and
take,
tried to vindicate.
yeah, I want us to take these issues
and-
one after the other and then watch these people
and
who are
here-
sitting there and glorifying
and
it
here
and
we
see they have
are.
any credibility.
And
This
here we
filthy
are,
scandal must not
an
die.
individual who is not even Ghanaian. And you know, the downside of all of
hypocrisy
this,
is just becoming
the
too
downside
much.
of all of this is that we have thousands of Ghanaian contractors who employ thousands of Ghanaians to execute projects here in Ghana.
Some are not even paid.
And yet have not been paid. Some don't have access to these juicy contracts. And here we are. We have
You cross
foreigners
borders to
crossing the
Burkina.
border into our country and milking
Ripping
us,
the nation
taking
apart.
away juicy contracts.
$700,000 for a war.
vehicles
Is it
in
what
return.
Jericho war or what we are building war around
Tell
Mount
us that
Trafajeto?
the vehicle is in the presidential fleet and people are happy about it. Who do you think you are deceiving?
Viewers, this is the sad state of Ghana today. Engulfed with corruption, bribery, broad daylight thievery. You have a choice on November 7th to change Ghana for the better. Good evening.